It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out of my mind. It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. I'm putting you out, trash day. I'm putting you out of my mind. Now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up the house. Taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage.
And welcome back to another Can Crushers Wrestling Spotlight. I am your host, Mark the Mark Martinez, and I have a gold standard spotlight this week. Yes, I'm using the pun. I have Ruthie Jay coming on the show, thy queen, one of the hottest rising stars, fastest rising stars in the Florida area, is going to come on the show, and she's got an amazing story about how she got into professional wrestling and so much more. I am so excited to talk to Ruthie. Guys, if you haven't checked her out, head over to YouTube. Her videos are on there. Her matches are on there. Watch how she works in the ring. She's young into the business, but she looks so damn crisp that it's amazing. So make sure you check her out, and she's on the line ready to tell me everything about her wrestling career. But first, you know what we have to do. We have to talk about Collar and Elbow. Hats, hoodies, tees, shirts, all that cool stuff that Collar and Elbow has. You can get it. Go to collarandelbowwrestling.com, and then when you check out, use promo code CANCRUSHERS. All one word, capital C in can, capital C in crushers, and you'll be able to save yourself 10%. And don't forget, check out our merch store too for all the new swag that we have. Everything is linked in the bio. You'll be able to go and buy some Collar and Elbow stuff because they're our sponsor, or you can buy some sweet ass Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast stuff. Here comes Al Snow to tell you more about Collar and Elbow, and then Ruthie Jay is going to come on and talk all things wrestling with me.
Wrestling, a love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand, the wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. Collar and Elbow is the brand. Passion and love for wrestling is the drive. I am Al Snow, and this is Collar and Elbow, the wrestling brand.
And welcome back to Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast. I told you in the intro how excited I was to have this up-and-comer coming on the show. I've been seeing her on YouTube taking over the Florida area. She is the queen, the gold standard, Ruthie Jay. Ruthie, welcome to Can Crushers. How are you doing today?
I am doing really good. I'm getting over a cold, so I'm feeling good. I'm glad it's not COVID. I'm alive, so I'm feeling blessed.
Well, you already know the first question I was going to ask you. Since you are in Florida, I hate to say it this way because we're in Pennsylvania, but you guys were the hotbed for a long time. How's everything coming out of Florida? You know, it's been a while that wrestling's opened back up, but how did it affect you?
I mean, Florida's its own country, so it's not like it took COVID seriously to begin with. So when everything shut down, yeah, it affected the circuit of entertainment, regardless what you did. Not necessarily wrestling. The entertainment in Florida was just downhill. Literally nothing was open. So it did affect us with, you know, how people like the money, how people make their money and stuff with bookings. But now that everything is like opening again, there's more opportunities for wrestlers to make a living.
Yeah. And you're relatively new. Before we went on the air, I said I took a shot in the dark, and I said about 2 years into the business, and we call it COVID years on the show. But you correct me saying about a year and a half. That's right?
Yes, a year and a half.
Okay. So let's do the big rewind that we always do on the show, and let's rewind to when you were just a couple years younger. Who introduced you to wrestling? Like, where did you find this? Was it mom, dad, Uncle Joe saying, Ruthie, you have to watch this?
Honestly, nobody. Honestly, let me see. When I was about 4 or 5 years old, I think I just put it on wrestling. Like, the person that was watching wrestling in our household was probably like this older guy that was like my dad's friend. He used to love watching wrestling. And like we never used to be able to like watch TV outside of like Sesame Street and stuff. So when they were staying up late, like kids usually do,
Right.
and like he was watching wrestling, and then the first people, I kid you not, the first two people I saw on my screen were like The Undertaker and Booker T. And apparently they were having a feud at that time. And I kid you not, when I saw it, I was like, this is real. Scared the hell out of me. I kid you not, I was afraid of The Undertaker until I was like 5 or 6. Scared the hell out of me. And
I would still
like,
be scared of The Undertaker now if I met him in an alley. Even as, no disrespect, as old as he is. He would still beat my ass.
Yeah, he's still pretty scary till this day. But back then, he was another level of scary. Like, it felt like so real. Like, especially to a young kid. And like, I wasn't like from this country. So I see these paranormal things. And I was like enamored by it. Like, what is this? Like, what's going on? And I see them wrestling in the ring. I thought everything was real. So I had to just keep watching it to see what's going to happen. Even though I'm terrified of what I might see, I just couldn't look away. So from that moment, I was just instantly drawn to it from like 5 years old.
So it's like a car wreck. You know, if you're driving down the road by a car, you can't look away.
Right. It's like, it's so mesmerizing and horrifying. You can't look away.
So those were the first two. You talked about The Undertaker. What about Booker T? Did you like something about him? Of course, I'm going to throw this out right off the bat. I didn't even know we were going to talk about Booker T, but can you do a spin-a-rooney?
Oh, no, I tried.
Okay.
I've tried. I honestly have tried. I cannot do a spin-a-rooney to save my life. But yes, I was a big Booker T fan, especially when he was King Booker. His personality was crazy funny. Like, I remember watching him, like, on TV. That's another thing, too, because, like, when I saw him on TV, like, as a young kid, I'm seeing this black man on TV, and he's, like, literally getting beat up by The Undertaker. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm like, oh my God, this is so real.
It's amazing how you could, sit back and just engulf yourself in the world of professional wrestling. I still do at the age of 44, even on, no disrespect, on indie shows or whatever. I just let my mind go and let talent like you entertain me and just take me out of this different realm and all these other issues in the world. So I thank you for that, Ruthie. You said a year and a half into business, but I thank you for doing what you do for people like me and my son and my cohort to go to shows all the time, because you take us out of this issues that we have in the world.
No, thank you for letting us do what we enjoy doing, because I think that's what it is too. Like, what drawed me to wrestling to begin with. Like, I didn't even know what was going on. I'm over here in this new country, America. I watch this entertainment I call wrestling, and it took my mind away from everything that was going on, because I'm so focused. I'm so drawn to the characters, what's going on in the ring. It bypasses everything that's going on in my reality.
So you say this, and I didn't know. When did you come to the United States, and where did you come from? And tell everybody your story about getting to the United States.
Literally, I kid you not. My dad woke me up out of my sleep when I was 4 years old and literally said, "We're leaving." Packed my bags, went to an airport, took a flight on American Airlines, came to America at 4 years old from Haiti, and we just never looked back. In my head, I'm like, wow. Like, it just happened so quickly. Like, I remember the day, too. It was like, literally, my dad woke me up out of my sleep around 4 o'clock in the morning, mind you. And how is it I'm 4 years old? I still remember this. 4 o'clock in the morning,
right?
Telling me we're leaving. That's crazy how I remember it so vividly. we end up in America, in Florida, Fort Lauderdale Airport. And it was like, wow, like my life changed from that moment. And from then on, I was basically American. Like, left Haiti, came here. And then once we got here, like, by the grace of God, because I got the opportunity, not even have to do anything. I just literally woke up and I was here. So I was like, wow. Like, once I got here, that's when basically we had to adapt, learn the language, learn the culture, learn everything. The first thing that I learned was probably the culture. The language wasn't really hard. I learned the language pretty easy too because I was pretty young. But learning the culture was pretty hard because everybody's so different in America. You never have like one group of people everywhere. So it was pretty hard learning the culture. I remember like when I first started watching wrestling, I didn't have any cable really. So I had to watch Raw in Spanish. And then SmackDown, you didn't need cable to watch SmackDown. So that's why I was happy for it, because like SmackDown, you could just watch. It was just
Right.
for everybody, for kids. Anybody could watch SmackDown. Like, I was always a big fan of SmackDown because of that. Because that's what introduced me to wrestling. Like, I didn't need cable to watch it.
So at the age of 4, you pack up. Was it really? This is shocking to me. Was it you guys were just, mom and dad were just leaving Haiti to get out, or there wasn't a job? I mean, how did everything roll out once you got here? And yeah, you said about the culture, but you guys didn't have a place to stay or anything? Were you homeless for a while?
No, what happened was it wasn't my mom and my dad necessarily, because my mom was already in America. So
Okay.
my mom already tried to, like, literally settled down here first to try to get everything settled a little bit. So once we got over here, we weren't homeless, and struggling as much. It was still a struggle because you can't really do that much without any paperwork in America. I'll tell you that. And so it's like once we got here, it was my dad that stayed behind to make sure me and my sister came to America. So my mom got here first, and then and then my sister and my dad and we followed her. So after I didn't see my mom for like a whole 2 years. Literally,
Oh my
like,
God.
yeah, I literally was born, and then 2 years later, my mom literally left to build the life here. And then like I didn't see my mom for like the first couple years of my life because she was building the life here a little bit so we could be settled in America. I didn't know all of this because I'm like 2, 3 years old. But yeah, so basically she left them. Well, my dad, my sister, and I in Haiti. And then once she made sure she had all our paperwork and stuff together, that's when she was like, okay, we moved to America. And then once we got to America, it was still pretty hard because they weren't citizens yet. So they couldn't really find like great paying jobs, but they
Right.
still managed to make things happen where we weren't homeless, we weren't sleeping in our cars. We didn't have any family. So we had quote unquote friends. But people take advantage of people. So
Right.
quote unquote friends to like keep us out of the streets, because literally we're like the first generation here. So if I have a child, like they're gonna be the first generation. Never has like somebody from my family been born here outside of the person that I create. So that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, but it's pretty amazing as well that, you're so young and you can tell this story. I have a big question. Were you in contact with your mom while she was over here? And what was it like? I've never not seen my mom in 2 years. I mean, she has passed now, but I have not seen my mom in 2 years and being so young. She was a different person to you.
Yeah, it was weird because like imagine you're born. I was born literally in 1999. Literally had my mom when I was 1 year old, 2 years old. Then 3 years old, she leaves. I don't see her again until I'm like 4.5 years old. The crazy thing is, I remembered that she was my mom. I never forgot that she was my mom. But it was weird because I was like, where were you this whole time? Not knowing this whole time she was in this other country trying to make another life.
Yeah, I thought you were going to get milk. Where the hell did you go?
Right. Where did you go? Like, she literally left to do something that was very brave. And like, without her, I'm pretty sure like, I don't even know where I would be, honestly.
Have you guys been back to Haiti since?
We've been back a couple of times. We've been back one time we've been back after the earthquake in 2010. We've been back one time again after that in 2015. But since then, I have not been to Haiti since 2015. So I have not been there in a while. But after everything that's happened, I do want to return, especially with what's going on now. But it's just not a good time.
Yeah, it's definitely not right now.
Not
I
a
would
good time.
pause for a minute on that. You're
Yeah.
young. You can make it back there for sure.
Yeah.
Because
I'll
you still
make
have
it
a lot
back.
of family there, right?
Yes, but the crazy thing is, honestly, if I go back, I probably would not remember a lot of them.
Right.
Because I left so young. My sister is older, so she'll remember more than I did. The only thing I remember about Haiti is literally the day that I left, only because it was so traumatic.
Wow. So skipping all over the place now because you've just blown my mind. So essentially, your parents, your heroes, over an abundance of anything else in your life, right? Because they've taken you out of, Haiti and given you everything.
Yeah, they did.
That's unbelievable. And this is a wrestling podcast, and you've just blown my mind, Ruthie. I love your parents for this. I really do. I've never had to talk to anybody that's had that situation. And I thought you were going to tell me a deeper story saying like, yeah, we had to fight crocodiles and, swim through the... You're like, I jumped on an airplane and I was gone. I'm like...
Yeah, I literally jumped on an airplane. And the funny thing is, I remember that day so well. There was half the people on the airplane missed their flight that day. So me and my sister, I didn't even know I was on an airplane. That's how innocent of a
You were a
child
baby,
I was.
yeah.
I was 4 years old. I didn't even know what a plane was. I've never been on an airplane. I thought it was like a car. I didn't even know none of that. Like, so many people missed their flight that day that me and my sister were playing tag on the airplane and hide and seek. Like, we were just having so much fun, not knowing, this is about to change our entire lives.
Wow. Mic drop from Ruthie on Can Crushers already. That's unbelievable. Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad your family braved the airport. I'm sorry. I'm just being a complete ass. Braved the airport to get you guys over here and bring you to us in the wrestling business. So once you're over here, you get everything settled, you find wrestling. How often are you watching it then? As much as you can all the time?
I was so obsessed with it. Like, every week, I had to, every week, me and my sister, we had a routine. We had the pizza, we had ice cream, we had the Capri Suns ready for SmackDown because we still didn't have no cable. We had a routine. Like, every Friday, we loved watching it. And after we finally got cable, yes, we finally got Comcast. We finally got some cable, and we finally got to have finally got to watch Raw like live, not in Spanish, like live.
Right, it's a big thing.
Now that we got cable, it's like, okay, now we get to watch both shows. We were watching it so much, talking about it so much. My mom banned us from watching it at one point, literally, because we were talking about it so much. She got so upset because we wouldn't even talk about our homework. We wouldn't talk about school. We wouldn't talk about anything but wrestling. She banned us from watching it for like a month. But then she realized we were still watching it. So she was just like, she just said, forget it, because we loved it so much. She can't get mad at us for loving something so much.
Was she yelling at you guys because you were actually doing moves on each other as well?
I mean, we did do moves on each other, but like at the time, because, with everything being so difficult, my mom used to work like 2 jobs. So like when she used to go to work at night, like me and my sister used to fake wrestle all the time at night. When we knew she was like gone, like almost all the night, we used to fake wrestle all the time. But she never caught us because she was always at work. But she was just always irritated about her kids, always talking about wrestling. She wants to talk to us, not about wrestling,
How is mom nowadays as I jump around with you in wrestling? Does she talk wrestling with you now?
Yeah, actually now she actually does. She literally talks to me more about wrestling than she ever has in her entire life. She asks me about moves. She's like, "Does this hurt? Do you like it?" She literally asks me about all the things that, like, she used to see. She used to watch it too. Don't get me wrong. My mom used to actually watch wrestling too. It wasn't until she had to literally like focus on, like, being an adult and stuff, and focusing on children and stuff. She couldn't watch it as much anymore. And I think that's why she banned us from watching it for a while, because she felt left out. Because at one point, me and my mom and my sister, we did watch wrestling together when she had time. But like as time went on, you have less time to spend to kids and stuff.
Right.
She didn't have as much time to spend with us. So I feel like now that I'm looking back at it, I feel like she felt left out. That's why she banned us from watching it for like a month. But yeah, she did watch it, and now she's even more into wrestling. But the funny thing is, my mom didn't even know I was a wrestler until like almost like she didn't even know I was training to be a wrestler almost until like a year after. And the way she found out was when my sister took her to one of my matches, and the announcer announced Ruthie Jay. She still didn't even know that was me. I got in the ring. I got on the top row. She still didn't know it was me.
What?
Yeah, she couldn't believe it.
And then she marked out, right? Once she realized it was you.
Once she realized it was me, I kid you not, I walked down the aisle, walked into the ring, spun around, got on top of the rope. They announced my name, Ruthie Jay. She didn't know it was me until my sister said that's me.
Oh, oblivious a little bit, Mom? A little bit? Wow.
Yes, that's how much she like couldn't believe it, like, because we watched it. Like, we did watch it together, like, at one point. She couldn't believe it. She was like, wow, this whole time you loved it that much? I was like, yeah.
How did you hide it? And we'll get to your training and everything here in a minute, but how did you hide it for that year or so from your mom?
I mean, I moved to Miami by myself, really. So when I really moved, when I moved there, she wasn't around as much, and I'm the last child. So once the last child's out the house, you ain't got nothing to worry about,
Party time for mom.
Right. You can do whatever you want. The last kid's grown. She can do. She's done. Like, now she's barely in the country like anymore. She's mostly like doing her own thing. So now when I started wrestling, I was still like in college. I went to Florida International University. So once I went there, I started the college. Didn't like the college. Nothing against the university. I just didn't like it. I was like, in my head, I honestly told myself I want to start wrestling school before I turn 20 years old. That's what I told myself. I said, I want to start wrestling school before I turn 20 years old. So I found Gangrel's Wrestling Asylum, which was a great school, RIP. And I didn't find it. My sister was the one that actually found it for me. And she told me to check it out. And it's in Dania Beach, which isn't too far from Miami. So I checked it out. I thought I liked the school, so I went there. I started training, and I progressed very quickly. Very, very quickly. And that helped me a lot too, because here's my mom thinking I'm still going to school,
Right.
So she's over here, but I'm going to school technically. Yeah, still school.
It's school. Yeah, there's an underlying circumstance there, but it's school.
I'm learning something, right?
Right, I agree. It's still going to benefit you in the long run. I don't want to get on your mom's bad side, so yeah.
Exactly. So like when she be asking me about my assignments and stuff, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty hard hitting, Mom.
And you're giving her the puns right back. Oh my God.
So, yeah. So the whole time, I'm not gonna say I lied, because I was still going to school. I managed to still get some kind of degree. I got my associate's degree, and after a while, it's not fair for her to think, I'm doing one thing and not the other, when she sacrificed so much for me to have, a good future,
Right.
So I'm like, it's not fair for me to just like go on and not tell her, because I feel like as a parent, she wants to be involved in my life, even if it's not something she might agree with, but it's not fair to like not just straight up lie, not say anything.
You just bent the truth. What did you get your associate's degree in?
Arts.
Arts. Yep. So
yes.
you're plentiful. You have knowledge in everything, which is good. Mom's probably happy about that. Did you know? Did you know who Gangrel was prior to you checking out the school?
Of course.
Okay, I was gonna because he's David. I'm sorry, he's a little bit older. I was just making sure.
I didn't get to America that old, but I knew who Gangrel was. Like, I know I got here a little bit after, like, he was in WWE and stuff. Like,
His
I got
prime,
here in 04. I got here in 04, so I probably missed like that era of Gangrel. But I still went back to watch the previous eras that I missed. That's how much I love wrestling. I was like, I gotta watch everything I missed before this. Okay.
You're reading my notes through the phone, by the way. I was going to ask down the line, do you do old school tape study? And you already answered that. But how far back do you go? Do you watch anything from way back in the 80s or farther back?
Okay, you see, the farthest back that I would probably go is 98.
Okay.
Or 99. Because like after like anything before that, I'm like, okay, this is nothing to wrestling. It's kind of like
it's changed.
Yeah,
it's changed tremendously. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot to go through, and I'm like, okay, if I want to start, I'm gonna start where at the height was like up there, because I want to see how this got so hype. Why is this so popular?
All right, so you find Gangrel's school, and you go and you kind of mill around a day and see if you want to go. And then what was kind of the deciding factor to say, yes, this is the place I'm going?
Okay, so the first time I went to the school, Gangrel literally asked me why I wanted to be a wrestler. And he asked me, like, what got me, like, interested in wrestling and everything. I basically, answered the same way I answered you. I basically told him that I love the feeling that I get from watching it, not necessarily who I'm watching, but the feeling that I get from watching it. Like, and then he was pretty impressed by my answer. I'm like, I think he would. But when he asked me all the questions to see if I was serious, and I saw the school, I saw how it was set up, I could tell that he is in a man that likes to have his time wasted. If I want to do this, he means business. And so I'm like, it's either I'm in or I'm out, because he seems like he doesn't have time to waste. Like, he's for business. So once I met Gangrel and took a tour around the school, I was like, this is the place. He seems like he's all for business. He's not about anything other than wrestling. Like, he's not sidetracked by money, by women. This business.
It's about helping the next era. Exactly. You've seen that from a lot of his students and over the years, that they progress. Like you said, they progress fast. They become, the next mega stars, because he doesn't dick around. I'm going to give props, and I've never been there. He doesn't dick around. He pushes you to make the wrestling business better, because that is still his bloodline,
Right.
Yeah.
He's still going.
He is still going.
52.
Right?
Bro, he's still going, taking better bumps than younger people. I'm like, what?
he is. He really is. And it's that old school mentality, I think, that he teaches upon his students like you. So again, I think you're ahead of the game going there compared to, Can Crusher Wrestling Academy, which there isn't one, by the way, Ruthie. But, I can train people to wrestle too, but it wouldn't be as good as, Gangrel's or Al Snow's that I partner with, or a couple other ones that I know. You have to go where there's somebody that understands the business, right?
Right. Somebody that has a mind for it and understands what it takes to get to where you need to go.
Right. Okay, so you get your first day of training, and after you take a couple bumps and you run the ropes, are you like, oh hot damn, this is rougher than I thought?
Not even.
No?
After a month and a half of just rolling around, just getting your rolls right, honestly, it was like, I'm ready to do something else. But you gotta get your rolls right. I was on the mat for about a month, just rolling. I didn't even touch the ring. Not my first month. I didn't touch the ring. It wasn't until like my about to get to my second month, that's when I got into the ring. That's when they taught me how to take bumps and everything. I kid you not, I thought I was going to die. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Honestly, because at the time I was so skinny. Like, I'm not lying. I was so skinny that taking the bumps hurt way too much. Gangrel literally told me, not in a bad way, like, hey, you have to gain some more size so you don't feel it as much, because like, you're so small, it's gonna hurt a lot more. Gotta gain some size. And I understood why he said that, because it was hurting more than it was supposed to. Like, it hurt like a lot, and I was super skinny, so I had to gain a little weight so I can endure it a lot more. So I'll say that, like, bumping, when I first started, I thought I was going to die.
That was my next question again. Was bumping and or running the ropes the hardest thing you had to do? Because the ropes are not, I mean, as wrestling fans, we all know that they're not, clotheslines or anything like that. They're steel cables. Were they the worst things?
Learning my bumps took about a month and a half, I would say. Learning all of my bumps would take a month and a half. Learning a bump, or bumps, I would say it took me like a month to learn. All the bumps, a month and a half. But I'll tell you this, it took me like 3 months to learn how to run the ropes.
Wow.
Running the ropes was probably one of the hardest things I had to overcome to become a wrestler, because I couldn't get it. I don't know why. I wasn't getting it. I wasn't getting it at all. Like, my hand, my legs, my feet coordination, I don't know what was going on. It was like, everything was like not coming together at all. It took me 3 months, I kid you not, to run the ropes. And as athletic as I am, just that one little thing could have literally stopped all my progression. Not stop my progression, but halt it, because it took me forever. Well, it felt like forever in your mind, because you're running so long, like, nonstop to get it right. Almost died again.
So how long in training before you get your first match?
That all depends on you. You could have your first match after 6 months of training, but Gangrel is one of those people that doesn't put you out there and say sink or swim. He makes sure you're gonna swim. So it's like, with me, I would say like your first match would be after about a year of training. My first match was after let me see, I started in like September. Yeah, I had my first match after about a year of training. Which was funny, because I honestly think I was supposed to have my first match sooner than that, but I sprained my ankle. Yeah, I sprained my ankle during training, and I think that held me back about like 2 months. So, yeah.
So let's talk about that first match. Was Mom at that first match? Was the butterflies unbelievable as nerves or excitement?
That my mom wasn't there. She wasn't at my matches, because honestly, I was still pretty. I was doubting myself about my skills. I was still pretty doubtful if I could do this. I wanted to be 1,000% sure before I showed my mom that, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like,
because she's going to compare you to Undertaker and Booker T, is what she's going to compare you to, right?
No, her favorite was John Cena. She'll probably compare.
Oh, okay. Wow, Mom, a John Cena fan.
No, my mom was a huge John Cena. No, John Cena and Jeff Hardy. My mom loved those two. She was just like, I love Jeff Hardy's hair. Oh my God.
He's a good-looking guy. You know, and I can see why the women flock to him. Yeah.
Yeah, she loved his hair, but that was kind of creepy. I'm like, okay, Mom.
All right, Mom.
But the first match, I was more excited than nervous. I wasn't really nervous. I was more excited. Like, yeah, man, I've been waiting forever for this. The crowd is ready to see me. I was like, oh my God, this is what it's like to be in front of the crowd. This is what it's like for them to hit your music, for them to be excited to see you. Like, I was excited. Like, it's one thing to have practice matches, but when you actually when you actually hit the scene, like you open the curtains and you see a crowd and it's like, okay, it's go time. It's completely different. I was more excited to feel that feel more than anything, because it's different, you know?
Right.
The audience never seen me before. They don't know what to expect. And here comes Ruthie Jay.
Well, perfect. Again, let's find out who is Ruthie Jay. You go by the Queen and the Gold Standard. So, where did those come from?
Thy Queen.
Thy Queen. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I can't even read my whole writing. Thy Queen. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. Thy Queen was mostly an alter ego that I've had, not before wrestling. I've always had this alter ego of Ruthie Jay. I'm not gonna say my full government name, but
no.
My alter ego has always been Ruthie Jay, and Ruthie Jay always thinks she's above everybody, and it's so typical to call yourself the Queen. So I call myself Thy Queen.
Nice.
So,
I get it now. I get it.
And then the Gold Standard was completely by accident, honestly, because at first I was supposed to be the Blue Jay, because I thought in my head I was going to be this cool high flyer and, fly. My favorite color was blue. Yeah, it's lame.
Okay. All right. I'm glad you moved away from that. Okay.
It was a lame idea, okay? And not everything sticks, okay?
Right. Well, everybody goes through something rough in their life, especially in wrestling. So that was your rough one. I'm glad you threw that away quickly.
Very quickly. It was so lame. I can't believe the Blue Jay. Who's gonna? Anyways.
Right. Who the hell's gonna cheer for a Blue Jay? I'm sorry.
Right. Blue Jay. Blue Jay. Oh my God. But it was by accident. I was supposed to get a blue top, and instead Amazon, I don't know how, delivers a gold top. So I was like, I still like the top, so I'm going to wear it. And then, so I got the gold, and then I liked the gold, and I kept wearing the gold. And I was like, I could do something with this. And then I was like, Gold Standard. Gold Standard. And I thought about it. I was like, I should do that, because guess what? I set the standard. I am the standard. And I thought about who did that. And I was like, you've seen it when Shelton did it in WWE? Yep. Exactly. And I was like, I always loved Shelton. He was so athletic, so good, but he wasn't necessarily a high flyer.
He could if he needed to, but he didn't have to. Right.
Exactly. And in my head, I'm like, that's exactly what I want to embody, because I didn't have to be a high flyer. I'm athletic. I'm athletic enough where I don't have to do all these high flying moves all the time. And everything I do still looks very impressive, that majority of women cannot do.
Nice. Now, let me tell you who I thought you were. Kind of some of the people that came to my mind after watching some of your matches. The Gold Standard gave it away. I really thought definitely that you borrowed from Shelton just because it's the name. And the other person that came to mind, well, there was two actually. Sasha Banks, because you come out with that swagger. So I thought, okay, definitely have a little bit of Sasha. And the other one is Tasha Steelz. Do you know Tasha Steelz from Impact Wrestling? That's another person that I put you, those three.
Isn't she the Puerto Rican girl?
Yeah.
Okay.
So instantly I'm like, oh my God, she's got those three. I mean, Shelton was an easy one for me. As soon as I saw your name, because I always like doing this comparison, I'm like, all right, she's going to pull some stuff from Shelton. Cool, I see that. But then you said Thy Queen. But I didn't go to Charlotte or anybody like that because you had that legit swagger. And then just your mannerisms reminded me of Tasha. So I'm like, yeah, this is who I'm going. So yeah, I was pretty close.
Yeah, it's pretty close. Oh, I could see all of those, but I don't know about the other girl from Impact. So I have to see her stuff. I've seen her stuff on Instagram, but I've never really seen her stuff on Impact.
Yeah, check her out. You guys have the same like body frame and everything. I think yeah, she's a badass bitch, and I could see Ruthie Jay being a badass bitch as well.
Hey, bad bitch alert.
Yeah. All right, let's find out a little bit more about you, and then we'll come back to wrestling. And these are where, I prompted you ahead of the thing that a lot of stupid questions to find out what you like. And I know you're a big video gamer, right?
Not very. Like,
no?
I don't play video games as much as I used to, at least.
Okay. All right. I stole that from your Facebook. They said you love video games, so I'm like, oh, okay, we can talk video games for a little bit, but that's okay.
Really? It's on my Facebook?
Yeah. It says you love video games, or computer games, which essentially is video games to me.
Oh, okay. Maybe that needs to change. That was probably from like years ago. I've been a member on Facebook since like 2011.
Yeah, yeah, everybody, yeah. So I always like knowing favorite things. Like, what's your favorite gum?
Gum? Like flavor?
Gum, yeah. Like Hubba Bubba, Big Red, Juicy Fruit.
I'd say Extra.
Okay.
Extra's my favorite gum.
Yeah, just plain. How about cereal?
Cocoa Pebbles. I like chocolate. Chocolat.
Oh, look at you! All of a sudden bringing.
Chocolat.
I don't know if I can handle that. When you're working out, what do you work out to? What music is bebopping in your head?
Honestly, I like early 2000s music only because it's so rhythmic. Like, there's so much rhythm in early 2000s music that's missing in like 2010s.
Yeah, big time.
There's a lot of rhythm in early 2000s music. I would probably just go down a 2000s playlist.
In your off days of you don't have a training sesh, you don't have any matches or anything going on, what are you doing? Are you still doing some tape study? Are you watching some reality TV? Like, give me a lazy day for Ruthie Jay.
Let's see. A lazy day, what do I do? I usually sit, watch TV. I try to talk to my friends and see what they are up to. If they're up to something, they probably want me to join. So maybe we'll go out to a movie, go skating, or just hang out at the house. Honestly, I haven't been trying to party because COVID is still out, and it's not even worth it.
It's not.
It's really not.
It's not. It really isn't. Downtime then. Like, what else? You still, hang out with the family when you can. I know everybody's kind of all over the place for you, but do you still get to hang out and maybe have a cookout with people?
Sadly, I don't have a lot of family here, remember?
Right.
So the people that I do know, like, that I do consider family, I don't really see them as often because they are in Fort Lauderdale and I'm the only person in Miami. But when I'm here, I usually try to do things along the line of trying to like get my future together, or like look up things that I could do, or go to any events that I find around the neighborhood, like an art event or like a music event. Because I'm still in Miami, there's still a lot to do here. There's a lot of events, and a lot of them are free because a lot of them are like people like me trying to, make it out there.
And then finally, on this random questions, what are you doing with your besides wrestling, because that's an art within itself? and you brought that you go to like music events and arts. Do you still have a passion for that, to do any of that you on downtime? Are you painting or anything? Digital editing?
I don't have any art experience myself. That's why I'm jealous of artists, or like, I'm not jealous, but I'm like envious. I'm like, I wish I could draw. Can't draw to save my life, but I love seeing art and like music. I can't sing to save my life either. I promise you, if I start singing right now, the phone might just die. But I am a dancer. I used to dance for 7 years, so here and there, I do take dance classes to keep my flexibility, keep my dance skills there, because no lie, dance helped me a lot. Even though we're not talking about wrestling, dance as a downtime is still pretty good for your psyche. It's still good for your spirit. Even though if you don't go to a dance studio, you can just look at yourself in the mirror and just dance, which is what I do all the time. And dance helped me out a lot in the ring. So I try to keep myself still like dancing. Even if I don't go to a studio or take a dance class, I try to keep myself dancing.
Well, no, that's a great point, because a dancer is very flexible, and even on your like lazy days, as I do air quotes, it's still giving you, limber up your bones and everything like that. So yeah, dance
Right.
is essentially, wrestling is to
Dance.
me a style of dance. Yeah.
Right. A very violent dance.
Right. It is. It is. All right, let's shift back over to some wrestling. And can you step outside yourself as the little, 4-year-old jumping on the plane coming to America and say, holy shit, I made it. I'm a wrestler. Again, I'm going to go back to Booker T and The Undertaker. Can you step outside yourself and like go back to the little Ruthie and say, I did this. I did this. And are you enamored by that?
Yes, very much so. Literally, honestly, I'll kid you not. 4-year-old me would probably cry of so much joy if I were to see 21-year-old me. Not even that. I couldn't even imagine. At one point, I couldn't even imagine my life after I was like 18. Only because it's so hard once you graduate high school. You don't know what the hell you're going to do next. You just graduated high school, and then they just tell you, here's the world. What are you going to do with it?
Wait till you're 44 and you still have that feeling. No, I'm sorry.
No, but it's crazy. That's how the world is now. It's just accepted. After you're 18, you graduate high school, they're like, oh, here's the world. What are you going to do with it? I couldn't even imagine my life after 18. That's the crazy part.
Do you consider yourself a superhero right now?
No.
No.
I am not a superhero.
No. Not meaning that you have special abilities or anything, but you're just a superhero maybe to a little, Macy or a little Kendra that is seeing you for the first time.
I would love to say that I'm a hero, but in my mind, I always feel like I am a terrible influence. So I'm like, no, I am not a hero. Honestly, like, I don't know.
I'm a terrible influence.
I am not a hero.
Okay. Make sure you clip that out and put that all over your social media, so you're a terrible influence.
I am a terrible influence.
All right. What defines a good wrestling match for you?
Story. It honestly, the same thing that drew me in is storytelling and personality and character. Like I said, bro, I only saw 2 people. Right. It wasn't even a match. It was just a segment, just 2 people. And it drew me in for life. And It was like, okay, the same thing with the match. If a wrestling match is good, this, for example, like growing up, my favorite wrestler, one match that can go on, and if this person is wrestling, I cannot miss their match. A Shawn Michaels match. My house could be catching on fire. I will not miss a Shawn Michaels match. I kid you not. Like, I couldn't. I couldn't as a kid because his matches made me care so much about him. Why? Because he had empathy. He drew me in so much that every time he was hurt, I believed it. Like, I wouldn't miss a Shawn Michaels match because I felt like it was so real.
Love him or hate him, he drew so much, and I think he could still draw it today, because exactly, you're right. The empathy, the storytelling that in every match he had. One of my favorite matches is with him and Razor Ramon, the very first ever ladder match. It just transcends the story. It is always there, and you can always bring those stories back. I mean, let's not joke each other, Ruthie, that wrestling storylines are rekindled over and over and over, and the good ones make everybody money all over again. Shawn was part of all those good ones because he knew what the hell he was doing. He knew how to connect with fans and everything. So I agree with you. I was never a huge Shawn Michaels fan, but I would probably watch your house burn with you and watch a match with Shawn Michaels. So, yeah.
No, and I thought it was super cool how he did the kip up with no hands. I was like, how
can you do that?
How do you do that? I'm a wrestler now, and I still can't be doing it with no hands. I have to use both my hands. Like, how?
These are the questions that I'm sure you get all the time, but I throw a little caveat on them. You have a dream match coming up, all right? And it could be anybody prior or now. But who's your dream match against? Where would it be? And what stipulation would you want?
Let me know. It would be against Trish Stratus, and it would be a no. I wouldn't say no holds barred. No, that's so lame. It would be. Honestly, I would say me versus Trish in a tables match because I always wanted to see what it was like to go through a table. But then again, me and Trish are both really small, so I'm like, that would be interesting to see how that works out.
Who's breaking the table?
Exactly.
So Bubba Ray is going to have to come out and put you both through it or something, right?
Right. Like.
And where? Would you give me the generic answer of like Madison Square Garden, or would you like to go back home? Someplace in Miami that you'd like to have this?
Honestly, I would want the match to be somewhere in that's so stereotypical.
Right. Thank you.
I would want it to be in the Barclay.
Okay. That's better.
That's in. Yeah.
It's still, it's close enough, but it's not the generic answer of, I want it to be in Madison Square Garden. Well, everybody wants a match in Madison Square Garden. I want a match in Madison Square Garden. And it's not going to happen, but you have somebody young coming up to you that wants to get into the wrestling business. And I know we've said you are only a year and a half into the business, but still, there's kids that look up to you. What do you tell them? What do you tell them about getting in the wrestling business?
I'll tell them exactly what somebody told me when I first started, and I didn't understand until I'm wrestling my matches now. Like, wrestling is a whore. Wrestling is a whore. Loves everyone but you.
Yep. That is so true. Being around the business and everything, it loves everybody but you. And then when you ask the next person, it loves everybody but them. So everybody is getting love. It's just you're not getting the love at the time.
Exactly. Somebody told me that. I think in a seminar. I don't remember which seminar but this was like when I didn't even have a match yet. And I was like, wrestling is a whore? What? And I didn't understand it. And I was like, I get it. It loves everything. But me.
Yep.
You see all these people get opportunities. You see everything happening around you. You're just like, how? You're just like, why? Why isn't it me? Or you see somebody get a spot that they don't deserve, or you feel like it should be you. And at the end of the day, wrestling doesn't owe you anything, but at the same time, you feel like you should get it because, you work hard, whatever, and you feel like you don't get the love. You feel like you work so hard. You feel like you do this, you do that. it's like a really abusive relationship.
It really is. I'm glad you know that at a young age, though. Because there's some people that don't know that yet in wrestling.
You know that's crazy? You're like that. You're like the third or fourth person that said that to me.
Yeah. Really. I mean, there's people that still think that they deserve everything on a gold platter. Where if you don't bust your ass and do it, it's not going to be given to you, right?
Right.
Yep.
And even when you bust your ass,
you still might not get it.
Get it.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's at the right place at the right time. It really is. There's people that I know that had their, second, third, fourth, fifth matches on like an AEW card. How the hell does that happen?
Exactly. Right place, right time.
Yep.
Or just knowing the right people.
Yeah. It really is. Networking helps as well. So, yeah. All right. A couple more questions before we let you go and give everybody your socials and everything. But this is two big ones. What has wrestling given you so far in your life?
So far, wrestling has made me feel content with myself. That everything that I've been through, done, seen, literally everything that I've said from the moment that I said that. I went on that plane, woke up, went on the plane, ended up in Florida, went to school in America, danced for 7 years. Everything, I feel like everything in my life led to this moment or like this way of life happening. Because literally, what are the odds of me coming from a completely different country, seeing something that I had no idea about when I first come here, and still loving it all these years later, right?
Right.
It's like everything happens for a reason, but it's just too perfect how this happened, Like,
yeah, it really has.
Right. I just see it on TV when I first come to this country, and I fall in love with it. And I've been in love with it ever since. And I still love it now, even though it's kicking my ass. And it's like wrestling honestly makes me feel content. And like, okay, maybe there's a purpose that I'm here. I'm not saying that I'm only here to wrestle, but wrestling makes me feel content in the sense that, hey, I'm here for a reason. Like, God could have picked anybody, or anything could have happened that I wouldn't have been on the plane that day and came to America, but I'm here. And not everybody gets that chance, and somehow I ended up here. Why was I here? Maybe, I don't know, wrestling, I'm not saying it's the end all be all, but maybe wrestling is something that I was meant to do, or is what's meant in my lifetime for me to do, because everything happened so perfectly. It's just like, wow.
That's powerful. It really is, because it's that, as we go all the way back to the beginning of the podcast, it is that plane ride that has changed your life. Not knowing what the hell you're doing at the age of 4, and now you're on and I'm not gloating or anything, you're on a podcast talking about you succeeding in the wrestling business. That's crazy. I still can't wrap my head around that myself. That has changed your life. And again, I'm going to throw it out there again. Booker T and Undertaker changed your life.
Yeah, first two people I saw.
Right? That's amazing. Like, I can't even say that, they changed my life because I'm a fan. They literally changed your life getting out of, a bad situation, coming over and have, boom, here you go. Here is the world, Ruthie Jay.
Right. Here's this world presented to you, and it's like you didn't even know it was coming. It was like an unexpected gift that was brought, and you don't even know what to do with it because you never asked for it. And now that you have it, it's like, wow, what can I do to make sure this gift is used properly, or this gift doesn't go unnoticed?
Yeah. Before the last question, this one just popped in my mind. If you ever get the chance to meet The Undertaker and Booker T, what would you tell them?
You guys are the first wrestlers I've ever seen on TV. That was literally what I would tell them. Like, literally, the first wrestlers I've ever seen on TV. And it was so cool that I had to become a wrestler.
And you would have a mark out moment. I mean, we're all marks to an extent because you are a wrestler. You essentially are a bigger mark than I am, even though my name is Mark. Because you're doing what I want to do. I mark out for you. You still mark out for the business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
You have to. Yeah.
Honestly, if you don't, then why are you here? Like, you have to love it so much that even when you hate it, you have to. That's what I'm saying. It's like an abusive relationship,
It really
man.
is.
Like, bro, you can't hate it because you have to find the joy. For you to last in this business, you have to remember why you love it, because you hating it is just gonna make you quit. Like, you have to remember why you love it, because it's gonna beat your ass like a dog, bro. Literally.
I just see you. I see you whipping a dog right now. I'm kidding. Before PETA comes at either one of us. Last big question. If you could, just as yourself, as the gold standard Ruthie Jay, thy queen, there's stigmatisms all around wrestling. If you could be an advocate to erase one of the stigmatisms out there, have it be for the LGBTQ community, the black community, any community like that, how would you help out and just get rid of this stigmatism? Because wrestling, watch Dark Side of the Ring. Sometimes people still think that wrestling is a circus show, and people are like, oh, you're a big wrestling fan. I want to know how you can advocate to get people to say, this is just nothing, and no disrespect to any wrestler listening to this, it's still a reality show to itself, and a dance, a sport, and entertainment.
What I would say to people who have a stigma, is it necessarily against wrestling or anything? Wait, can you repeat that? Is the stigma like towards wrestling? Like,
yeah, towards wrestling or towards, the LGBTQ community, towards, the black, the Hispanic, and, a community that, people are like, oh man, not that many people do this in the Hispanic community, not too many people do this in the black community, the gay community, anything like this.
Oh, okay.
How can we advocate to make wrestling better, essentially, is what I meant.
Okay, so what I would say is, there's literally no way you can draw somebody into wrestling that isn't into it, honestly, because if they feel like it's a theater show, it's all for theatrics and it's all soap operas, they'll never really get into it. You have to buy into it to really be a fan. But what I will say for most wrestling fans is that it doesn't matter, like, if you're gay, straight, bi, Asian, black, Hispanic. At the end of the day, we're all still human. And at the end of the day, everything that we do for your entertainment, it shouldn't go unrecognized, because guess what? Boxers, they do the same thing. For what, though? For your entertainment. Everything people should do should be appreciated for art, for what they do it for, because even though wrestling isn't seen as a team sport, it is a team sport. Because guess what? You can't have a match by yourself. It takes two people. And the same respect football players, basketball players, soccer players get for playing a sport that they risk their lives to play, I feel like wrestlers should get that same respect. Even though, people are going to say it's for theatrics and everything. That's cool. But honestly, there's no way for people to say, oh, hey, become a wrestling fan if you're not bought into it. But I would say that you should give them the same respect as you would any entertainer. Like, because why are they doing it? Why is a boxer going out there? Why is an MMA fighter going out there getting their face punched in? For the money sometimes, yeah, but also for your entertainment.
It really is. I love that answer. Thank you, Ruthie, for being open and honest with that. You could have given me a PC answer, but I felt that through the phone that came from your heart. So thank you. That's amazing. I think you're one of the first that's actually opened up like that and said, listen, this is it. So, all right. Tell everybody where they can follow you on the socials, and do you have some merch you would sell and stuff like that?
Yes, I have my gold standard shirts. Some cute black and gold shirts. Has a cute cartoon of me, flexing the muscle. It's usually on my Instagram page. My Instagram handle is Ruthie, Ruthie, not with the Y, but IE _all_smiles. That's my Instagram handle. My Twitter handle is Superior Queen with a W. That's it.
Yeah, Facebook. You've really lacked off on Facebook. But
I have.
Yeah.
I really have. I didn't even know I still had. I play video on Facebook, but at Facebook you can still add me. It's Ruthie Jay. This is just my wrestling name on Facebook.
Ruthie, this has been a blast. Thank you for stopping by, and I'm so thrilled to hear your story of a 4-year-old child coming to America. As I started the show off saying that you're one of the hottest talents coming up. I love your matches. Guys, they're on YouTube. Type in Ruthie Jay. You'll be able to watch them. Damn it, she's been trained by Gangrel. Guys, one of the best trainers out there. You've heard me talk about Gangrel before. So, Ruthie, again, thanks for stopping by.
No problem. Thank you for having me. It was great being on Can Crushers Wrestling Podcast.
Holy shit. That's the way I'm going to come back with the outro is holy shit. She told me a story that I had no idea about. The whole story about Ruthie coming over at the age of 4, being swooped up, thrown on a plane, coming over, thinking she was just in a car, and then playing tag on an airplane to come to the United States. That blew me away. So one, congratulations, Ruthie, about that. That has changed your life tremendously. I can't even imagine still, after talking to you, how this has just propelled you in life. But how about her wrestling? She is locked and loaded. She will get down and dirty if she needs to. I love her stories. I love how she walked in and she kind of just fell in love with Gangrel, that he's a no-nonsense guy. He's there, like I said on the podcast, to push them farther, to make sure that she is one of the highest and fastest rising stars out of that Florida area. And I spoke a little bit with Ruthie after the show, and hopefully we can get her to come to Pennsylvania. We can, help her get to maybe OVW as well, because that's really cool. We need to help push these young stars like that so they get more time. They get more acclimated with, being in bigger areas and just more eyes on them. So, yeah, guys, head over and follow Ruthie on all her social medias, help an indie wrestler out, buy a shirt, and just continue to watch her grow more and more all the time. I loved it, guys. Again, if you have anything or anyone you want to talk about, you can always send us an email. It's cancrusher69@gmail.com. We'll reach out to the wrestlers. If you're listening to this, again, send us an email at cancrusher69@gmail.com. Find us on all our socials, which is Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. All of them are at cancrusher69. Drop us a DM, and then you'll be able to come on as well and tell your story about getting into the business and, how you want to excel as well. So, yeah, I loved it. The gold standard Ruthie Jay. Make sure you check her out, guys. And remember, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called the garbage can, not a garbage cannot.